Welcome to the HR Happy Hour Work Break. You are here with Trish and Steve. Hey, Steve Bose.
Good afternoon, Trish McFarland. Happy Monday. How are
Happy
you?
Monday to you. How was your weekend?
It was really good. The weather here was fantastic all weekend. And I'm in this weird space, though, with the weather here. And it's not so nice today. So maybe I was right. I've got this irrational thing in my head that when it's a nice, warm, sunny day, it's going to be the last one for a while. And I've got to capitalize on it to its fullest extent. So I spent a lot of time sitting outside all weekend, maybe too much, but yeah, it's good. Really nice, as a matter of fact. So how are things there? I heard it's warm in the Midwest too. Someone was telling me.
Good. It's been warm. I had a good weekend. I want to give a shout out to our HR Happy Hour show sponsor, one of them. Our friends at Paychex surprised me out of nowhere with a box of some really awesome things. So
nice.
I have my Paychex jacket on. I'm all ready for fall. It's like really remade, so that's good. I have a Paychex.
Oh, I'm jealous of the cap for sure.
Like that. I've got it on a little funky. There we go. And
I dig it.
And several boxes of my Belvita little cookie things that I like. They're like super healthy. So yeah, thanks to our friends at Paychex for that.
That was really cool. Well, yeah, and maybe
I have been wearing it, but I'm going to take it.
I'm going to start lobbying for one of those hats. Those are cool. I would definitely could use one. Awesome. Well, good. Yeah, it's good to get the swag. Look at the swag box once in a while. It's cool.
I know. And it was a good weekend of bowling. So my daughter had a bowling tournament, and she did really, really exceptionally well. Games well over 200. So I'm really proud of Carly for having a good bowling weekend. And she's just racking up the dollars for college. It goes right into a scholarship fund for her. So I'm really proud of her. So
that's really, really cool. No, that's exciting. Yeah.
You know what? I spent some time writing. I don't know about you, but I have not been writing very much lately.
Sadly, I haven't been either. And that's not good. Yes.
So I did that today. Did a little bit yesterday. And so that kind of, I don't know, it just got creative juices flowing. And now I've got like all these ideas, and I don't know. I started kind of going back to some of the old habits I had kind of pre-pandemic. And I don't know, do you remember that website StumbleUpon?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Right? Sure. I used to use that all the time. For anyone who's not familiar, it was a site just called StumbleUpon.com. And basically it would bring up an article that you probably would not have found had you not stumbled upon it. Right. And then you could either thumbs up or thumbs down, and then it would bring a new article and it would just keep going. And so it's a great place to find just new information.
Does it still exist, StumbleUpon?
Well, it doesn't exactly, but it got bought out by Mix.com, Mix.com. I don't think I like the look of it as much, but the features and functionality are still there. So I went out there today, and I actually tweeted out before the show today because I stumbled upon, or did I mix? That sounds weird. I don't think
StumbleUpon sounds better.
StumbleUpon thing. Anyway, an article called "Mexico's All-Female Mariachi Bands Are Shaking Up Tradition," and it was written by Laura Kinney.
It's been time for that too. That tradition needed a little shaking up.
March of 2020. I had to be honest with you. I don't think I've ever seen a female mariachi band or even female members in a mariachi band. And it just got me thinking, like, there are so many things that are still very male dominated in this day and age.
Yeah.
And I was really excited to see that was something being kind of disrupted, right? So then I started digging, right? So then I started digging into it, and I found on YouTube, it's actually been going on for a while. And I tweeted it out. So if you're following me on Twitter, go check this out. There was a Tiny Desk concert by Mariachi Flor de Tolache.
Okay.
And it was amazing. I don't know if you do the NPR Tiny Desk concerts. Do you ever watch
I've heard of it, but I've not watched it in a long time.
You know, they cram them into like a little tiny like office, basically.
Okay, it's literally like a tiny desk. Okay.
It's a Tiny Desk concert. And you know what it is? I think it just really, people have to just be themselves, and there isn't much space to move, and they just have to just go in there and play and sing and talk a little bit about their music, and all different artists, from very well known to, you know, obviously some that are lesser known. But yeah, so I thought that was really fun today. So I kind of took a little bit of a creative detour from work, and
I like it.
And did some mariachi research. How about you? What have you been thinking about?
I did not do any mariachi research, but I'm always looking for interesting things, and I write them on these little note cards, like things I might want to mention on the show or just for other reasons. I have a few here.
Okay.
I have two. Can I do two? One's a real quick one, and one's maybe more interesting. We can talk about it.
Yeah,
Here's the first real quick one. I got an unsolicited email today from a podcast analytics company I'd never heard of, which is fine. And I guess they're maybe trying to sell us something for the happy hour.
Probably, yes.
But it was the coolest email subject line I've gotten in a long time. And here's the full subject. Quote, HR Happy Hour is ranking very well in Uruguay.
Ooh.
According to this person's email, we have the number 8 business podcast in Uruguay. So shout out to our Uruguayan friends. Thanks for the support. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but sounds pretty cool.
I love it. I don't know that we've been specifically marketing there. However,
we should. Okay. Here's the other one I think maybe more interesting. And I'm going to ask you a question now. So
ask me a question.
Holidays are coming up. Thanksgiving's coming up. And some of the, those kind of Thanksgiving food articles start making the rounds. So this was going around today on the internet a little bit. Maybe you saw it. I don't know. So I'll ask anyway. Trish, what would you say is the most popular side dish, Thanksgiving dinner side dish in your state? It was one of those maps, right? And every state's favorite side dish was listed. And they do it from a combination of search trends and internet things. And I don't know, maybe social media. I don't know how they figure it out, but they do.
Okay, I'm on the fence. I'm going to talk this out a little bit. I'm on the fence between green bean casserole. I feel like that's a big Midwest kind of thing. And dressing. I feel like dressing is way up there. So I'm going to go dressing.
Okay. So it was neither of those, Trish. I did check. Illinois went with mashed potatoes.
Whatever.
Was the most common favorite side dish amongst all the states. 10 different states went with mashed potatoes.
What is Missouri's?
You know what? I don't have the map right up in front of me. I just have the note. I only wrote down your state and my state. I'll have to check. I think Missouri might have been the green. It was different than Illinois, I'm pretty sure. Now I don't remember.
Because I was born over there, raised over there. I'm actually in Illinois technically, but I'm 3 miles into Illinois. I still count myself as solidly St. Louis, Missouri. So I don't know. I just feel like, I don't know about that.
Not embracing the mashed potato?
Was it like yams or something?
North Carolina was mac and cheese, and there's a very solid southeastern mac and cheese block, as I recall from looking at the map, like North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia.
At Thanksgiving.
7 states. It was the number 2 most popular side dish by number of states that have
it. I've never had that for
7 states. Well, you should. Mac and cheese at Thanksgiving is good.
Mac and cheese is like...
I'm signing up. Team mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese is just for like Thursday night. It's not for Thanksgiving. Oh, goodness. Okay. Well, enough for the fun stories. How about one more before we go? We've got just a minute or two here left.
Sure.
I did want to point out, I sent you a link because normally we don't do any prep, and I don't know if you had a chance to even look at it. But the CDC actually just came out with a new report about COVID cases and the relationship between positive cases and people who are found working primarily in offices or places of work versus working from home, full-time, remote, or even part-time. And they have found that workers going to an office at least the 2 weeks prior leading up to their positive test were twice as likely, going to an office were twice as likely to test positive.
Right.
Than those who were maybe sick and weren't and they tested. It said 35% worked from home or part-time at home, and 65% were going into the office regularly. So new CDC information. I mean, to me, that's probably a little scarier than what I would have guessed. I don't know how you feel about that.
I think it's super scary. And I also think it's probably, and I'll bet the study wasn't quite sophisticated enough to sort of test for this, but I think when you're going to the office, let's say you're commuting to an office and physically going there, or any kind of workplace day after day after day, that's also just putting you out in the community a little bit more generally. And I'll bet you're doing more sort of ancillary kinds of things where you might be interacting with other people and other places. You know, when you're working from home, you tend to, sometimes I'll go 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
I don't leave the house. I don't go anywhere other than the backyard. And so if you're out there sort of, going to work every day, you might do more stopping at the grocery store or the drugstore or the dry cleaner or whatever, a place to get lunch. I just feel like you're also going to tack on more potential exposures as well. I think it's a great point though, Trish. Like organizations have to think really long and hard about reopening plans. I know they're thinking about it and have been for a while, but as the cases keep going up and up and up, right, which they are sadly right now everywhere, it's a big serious deal.
It really is. And I'm so on the fence because part of me, I don't want our economy shut down. I want to be, for you and I as well, right? We're small business owners. You really are trying to do all you can to stay in business and to, and to then, spend money in your communities and things like that and keep other businesses open. And so I have that side of me. Then there's also the mom side of me where it's like, gosh, if you wind up going into an office, a grocery store, a school, very similarly, places where you sit or are present for a larger amount of time, I just feel like it is dangerous still. So
yeah, indoor things, right? It's getting colder in lots of the country, or will soon. It hasn't quite yet, but yeah, it's the one plus good news is the vaccine news was really positive today, though. I don't know if you caught that, right? So the Pfizer vaccine was the first one to report on clinical trials. Their final stage of clinical trials are claiming 90% efficacy in the final stage of clinical trials, and hoping to get, I can't remember the term, emergency use authorization. I think that's the term that the government can grant medications and vaccines like this to kind of jumpstart the approval process a little bit. And this vaccine is going to hopefully start getting out into like first responders and healthcare workers fairly soon. It sounds like it might even start happening before the end of the year. And so maybe knock on whatever you can knock on, we're going to start to see the beginning of the end of this. And it's probably going to take a year, though. That's what I'm hearing, a year for this to be rolled out all over the country, but still pretty positive.
You know what? It's a step closer today than we were yesterday. So I think it's a great thing. I'm excited. I hope it works. I really do. And I hope that as they keep, continuing on, that it's found to be even more effective than what they think today. So I know one of the things that the CEO said when he announced it was that they aren't sure how long it lasts, though. That is one of the sort of the unknown factors as well. They're not really sure about that. But again, I think any amount of protection is bound to help the numbers go down. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Some good news and some bad news, right?
Right.
Well, good stuff for a Monday. Hey.
Yeah. Go Google your mac and cheese recipes. Get ready. Holidays coming up.
That's right. And for anyone listening, watching, thanks for listening and watching. And share with me, like, do you do mac and cheese? I'm curious now. I want to know who else is having mac and cheese at Thanksgiving. And if not, what's your favorite side dish? I don't know. I'm pretty traditional, so no mac and cheese here. All right. Thanks, everyone, for watching. As usual, a happy Monday. We will see you back here tomorrow.
Bye, everyone.